So we're going to start by just looking at a few examples of what a matrix is. So a matrix is a rectangular array of numbers. It is basically organizing numbers in rows and columns. And the numbers will mean something, just not yet. In a matrix, it says that there's m rows and n columns, and we write the dimensions or the order. Those mean the same thing. Dimensions and order, they mean the same thing. We write those always as the rows by the columns. Switch those numbers up, it's wrong. So you always write rows first. So when I was younger, and there was a drink called RC Cola, and some of you may have heard of RC Cola. I don't think they sell it anymore.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Where?
Probably Jungle Gyms.
Jungle
Yeah, gas
Gyms, probably.
stations.
I'm going to have to buy one just to have it so I can show you. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to drink it. But if you think about RC Cola, it tells you R, then C. So we always write rows first, then columns. So rows by columns. So here I'm going to make up a matrix. And there's 6 elements in that matrix. But how many rows? By the way, columns on a house or a building look like what?
Up and down.
Okay, so those are columns. So rows got to go the other way. How many rows? 2. By how many columns? 3. So that's the dimensions or the order of that matrix. Then there's some definitions here. If it's called a row matrix, it is just one row. So it might look like 5, 4, -3, 2, 1. That one has 5 elements in it, just one row. And then this column matrix just has one column. So we have one column with the numbers 1, 2, and 3 in it. And then a 0 matrix would be any matrix where all the elements in it are zeros. So 0, 0, 0, 0. There's a 0 matrix. Okay. Find the dimensions or order of the following matrices. So question A, what do we think about when we do the dimensions or the order? What do we think about? We think about that refreshing RC Cola. So what comes first? Rows. How many rows for question A? 3. By how many columns? 2. All right, you do the next 3. Writing utensil. Go over to my can and see if there's something in there that works.
Somebody stole it.
All right. Jazzy, did you get B? 2 by 5. Good. 2 by 5. Wyland, did you get C? 2 by what? Good. Yeah. And Dominique, about D. 4 by 1. How was that? I understand. I mean, after doing all the systems of equations, it probably was pretty difficult, right? The last example, right above it, it has an actual system of equations, and it has an augmented matrix, and it has a coefficient matrix. It has like an example right there. The one that's on your paper has X, Y, and Z. Do you see the system of equations? The very top example has X, Y, and Z. I just put it under here real fast. I don't have it on my notes, but I put it on the paper so you have an extra example. So the system has X, Y, and Z, and we've been solving these systems of equations, haven't we? So now we're going to take them and write them in what's called an augmented matrix, and I'll just go through the steps. And then there's also something called a coefficient matrix. But we're going to do the augmented matrix today. So with the example that's on your paper, you want to start and look at which variables we have. How many variables do we have? We've got X. What else we got? Y, Z, and then W. So W will be the last of the 4. It will, even though alphabetically it's not, it will be the last. And you're going to make a matrix that has one row for each equation, and then the columns are going to be the variables. So the first column is going to be the X's, but I'm sorry, I said it was going to be variables. It's actually the coefficients of the variables. So the first column is going to be all the coefficients for X. So in the very first equation, X is 1, and then the second equation, there's no X. So what does that mean? 0. And then the third one, X is 1, and then the fourth one, X has a 2 in front of it. So my second column is going to be the Y's. We're going to have a 3, a -1, a -5. Wait, which one is 0? Oh, the one I just did. Sorry about that. I knew one of them was 0. I messed up. All right, and then the last one is a 4. Can you fill out the next 2 columns, but don't close your matrix because there's more after that. So fill out the next 2 columns. Jade, can you give me the third column, please?
0, 4, -5, and -3.
Excellent. And then Carissa, can you give me the fourth column?
-1, 2, -6, 0.
Very good. From there, since we're doing the augmented matrix and you see in the picture how it has those dots, that's where the equal sign was. So we're going to do these dots where the equal sign was. That is not a column. That's just for anybody looking at it. Tells you where the equal sign was. So, we don't. If you did the W first, somebody looking at it would be confused. Okay, so we'll put it in, not in alphabetical order, but we'll do X, Y, Z, and then W is always last. And then, I know it's weird, but the one right above it, the example, didn't even have a W. So when there's not a W, if none of them have a W, you just don't put 0, 0, 0, just like leave it off. There isn't a variable in any of them. But yeah, we'll do X, then Y, and then if it's the third one, Z, and then if there's a fourth one, we go back to W. Okay, and then the last column is just going to be after the equal sign, the constant. So we'll have 9, -2, 0, and 4. And then you finish with a bracket. It's not okay to leave off the bracket because the bracket tells you that this is a matrix. How we symbolize that we have a matrix. And that's it for the notes for today. So by Friday, you have an assignment due. And this is the assignment. By Friday, that one's due. So if you, right now, are 100% confident you're going to get an A+ on the test, feel free to do that assignment right now. But if you're not 100% confident that you're going to get an A+ on the next test, which is tomorrow, then you should be studying. Laptop cart for Canvas if you want to pull out the answers that I posted on Canvas. I also have a paper copy somewhere on my desk. And then use me for questions, or if you want extra practice, I can hand you stuff for extra practice. Okay?